I'm Chris Wilcox. I work for CSIRO, which is Australia's National Research Institute. So marine debris is linked to a bunch of different aspects of sustainable development. In some ways it's connected to solid waste management, so how we actually manage our use of resources, particularly in urban areas. It's also linked in terms of its impact in the ocean and effects on wildlife and water quality. And it's ultimately connected to other industries that are components of sustainable development, like tourism. It has dirty beaches have a really strong negative impact on other economic uses that are low impact in the environment. Essentially works in 2 or 3 ways, depending upon how you think about it. Animals get tangled up in marine debris, so ropes and bits of netting, and they drown. They also eat it, and so it affects them physically. It punches holes in their guts or clogs their digestive system. And there's growing suspicion that there's chemical effects of eating plastic on the organisms. So some components of plastic leach hormone disruptors that basically can affect reproduction. So it acts in a range of ways. So it's an interesting problem. I think it's quite different from climate in that essentially all the plastic, or the vast majority of plastic we find in the ocean, is consumer items. And those things were at one point in someone's control. Somebody actually held them in their hand. So one key thing is essentially changing people's decision making around how they dispose of things, particularly single-use things that tend to get disposed of relatively rapidly after a short period of use. On some level it's about putting a price on plastic. Ultimately the problem is that plastic's just too cheap. And so we don't value it as a resource, we lose it into the environment. I think, recently I saw a plan by the South African government to address plastic going in the ocean. And their approach was really progressive in that they saw a chance to develop their innovation sector, say chemical engineers, changing products and things like that. And they also saw the plastic in the environment as a resource that they could recover and basically reprocess and sell. And so for them, instead of an environmental problem, it was a development opportunity. So I think one of the things that the delegates to this meeting could really drive forward is trying to build a bridge between governments and industry and move from an adversarial model to a joint recognition of the economic and intellectual opportunities that addressing the problem offers.